Good morning, everyone. I am Elle Harris, and this is
Rashad Harris.
And so this is our last episode of Keepin It Lite for 2020, and we actually were going to stop last week. Rashad wanted to take 2 weeks off because he's just been working really hard and he needed a break. But guess what I did? Stopped that and asked him if we could do one more episode. So rude. However, I feel like we needed this. This is our end of the year wrap up. 2020, wrapping it up. This is our special edition. I'm going to keep it short and sweet and together so he doesn't have to do a lot of editing. And we can just put this out and it's easy for you.
Yeah.
So, 2020. I want to talk about a couple of different things just to kind of see like where we were, what we feel about the whole year, all of those good things.
Okay.
A lot of things have happened. So let's start with in the world. What is something that has happened in the world that's been like a major blow in 2020? Other than just like COVID.
I think this year, for me personally, I could say that I feel like I lost some people who I didn't realize were important to me until they were actually gone. And so to me, that affected me a lot. Or now that I'm like reflecting on it, it's like, dang, like this person isn't here, this person isn't here. Like, even without COVID, like, I didn't realize how much Kobe Bryant affected me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even like the biggest like Kobe fan, but man, he's like not here. It's like, dang, Kobe's not here. Like,
people that you thought you were going to see go on Hall of Fame and like be old and retire and all that type of stuff. Yeah.
Like watching that movie yesterday with like Chadwick Boseman, like I was never like into like the Jackie Robinson or
Black Panther.
I was kind of into Black Panther, but I mean as far as like James Brown and all those other roles he played, but then it was just like, dang, he's not here. And just seeing that movie we watched yesterday with Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, just realizing like how like dope he is as an artist. Like yo, dang, he's not even here. And then just personally, like, you know, friends and people I went to high school with, people that I've known out who are not here, just like, I don't know, just crazy to me. So that's probably like the biggest, like, negative that, you know, taken away from this year. What about you?
Okay. I would say the same. I think the Kobe Bryant thing was really hard. Not just because, yes, him, but then like his daughter and then, you know, all of those things. That was like a blow. And I'm not, same as you, I'm not a big Kobe fan. Had a jersey, but, you know, I wasn't really into that. I'm not really into basketball like that. So just seeing that, how it ripped apart, like not just his family, but the world, because so many people loved him. And as simply as you stated as well with, you know, friends passing away. And I think because of our age, I think for me, seeing so many losses, that some of those losses weren't even COVID related,
Right.
but seeing those losses made me feel like, am I at that age now? Like when my parents used to always talk about so-and-so passed away. Like, are we at that age now when people begin to...
Where you're just going to funerals all the time.
Yeah, and I'm like, I feel like we're still so young. So it reminds you to value life.
Right.
You know. So, on a lighter note, what are some really good things that have happened in the world you feel that has been monumentous in 2020?
The one thing I could really speak to something personally is just that...
Not personally, in the world.
When you say in the world, what do you mean by that?
Like culturally, socially, like in business and media, whatever, but in the world that's happened, like something that you could watch on TV that's happened, that's been amazing in 2020.
The one thing I can kind of take away that wasn't something that happened to me, but just seeing like other creatives like really using this downtime to really kind of go hard and really position themselves greater than where they were this time last year. I think that was just a huge inspiration, just seeing different people like Kevin on stage or Andrew Schultz. And a couple other people like that who really just took the time, like, you know what? It's crazy because I remember when the pandemic first started, people were like, yo, now you gotta use this time to kind of, go hard or, make a name for yourself. And a lot of people were like, you know what, I'm gonna just kind of chill. I actually even did that to an extent starting out, and then it was like, all right, now I gotta kind of pick it back up. But just seeing people like that who are creatives, who are dope at what they do, like, you know what, now is the time for me to kind of do something, pivot a little bit, and really go hard at what I do to really make a name for themselves. Like Kev opened up his own production studio. I know Andrew Schultz had like a project on Netflix, like just off of sitting in the room with their own creativeness and like, all right, now it's time for us to kind of go harder because there's nothing else going on in the world, nothing else positive going on in the world. What about you?
For me, it was the election.
Okay.
Seeing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are now president and vice president-elect. And I think it was so monumentous for me because I remember in 2016.
It was a completely different energy.
The energy was crazy. I remember going to bed. And even though, like, a lot of us didn't really care for Hillary Clinton, I think she's a brilliant woman. She's just not very charismatic. And so a lot of people didn't want to vote for her, but people still went out. I definitely voted for her. And still hoping that she would win. And then I went to sleep, when they were still adding things up. And I woke up the next morning and saw that Donald Trump won. And my heart was heavy. Like, it was just a horrible feeling. So when I was watching the election this year, I started to feel that way in the beginning.
5 days.
That first night, I was like, man, we're back here again. And I think because so many things have happened, in the world, George Floyd, all those things have happened. And seeing how he was winning in the beginning, I was like, wow, are we that racist of a country and so divided that people will vote this man back in? So I was like devastated. Went to bed like, well, guess it's the world. And then the next day to see how things just kind of flipped around and changed, it was like the greatest thing in the world.
Okay.
Because it made me like believe again.
And
I, what I'm saying? Like, I know people are racist. I know people are divided because they want to. This country was founded on division. So I know that's still true and that happens every day. But to see that there are still people who wanted to change, like that made me hope again. Like believe, like what, we can be better. So that was really huge for me this year.
Okay.
So what about personally? What is a low that you had personally this year?
Really, I don't feel like I had too many lows personally. Just the uncertainty of from March until maybe May, just trying to really figure out what was going on was like a low. But I think that was just for everybody. Just didn't really know exactly what the world was what was going on in the world. What did that mean to you and your household? So that's probably the only thing I could really think of, which would be a low, is just not really sure about what was happening in the world. If people were dying, I mean, of course people were dying, but how that affected you personally.
Yeah.
How you was gonna make money, how you was gonna, pay your bills or anything like that. So just those couple of months when just things weren't sure was probably like the lowest, like when you felt depressed or you didn't want to do anything. You couldn't go nowhere. I felt it was just like rough. What about you?
Low for me this year. Probably when I failed. That was probably one of the worst days of my life. Well, most worst moments. I'm not gonna say days, it's just that moment. Not knowing if I was gonna live or die, or if I was paralyzed. Like that was probably the lowest moment. What about happiest moment?
Do you plan on doing like takeaways from the year or just?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Happiest moment. To me, as you say, I don't never really reflect in the moment. So I don't really have like one particular moment that stood like head and shoulders above everything else.
Okay.
But I just had like a takeaway of the year.
Okay.
Which was 2020 kind of gave me glimpses of the life that I kind of wanted to live. As far as like being financially secure, being like mentally secure. Even with a pandemic going on, my business was still secure and it was still flourishing. So all of those things kind of jumped out at me as like, this is how I want to grow my business. This is how I want to be as a man. And this is how I want my bank account to look at all times. And even like just going super personal, like just being able to be aware enough to be like, you know what? These are the type of relationships I want to have with different people. Like, you know, having certain conversations with my parents that I never had before. That kind of just put me in a good space. Like, all right, you never want to feel like your relationship with your parents is stagnant, but a lot of times it can get very stagnant. But so with having those conversations, like, you know what, I learned something new about them. So our relationship can kind of grow more than just you being my mother or my father. It's like, all right, now I kind of know you as the man or the woman that you are.
They're no longer your parents, they're your friends.
I wouldn't say they're my friends, but
But you have a friendship with them instead of a need of them parenting you.
Yeah.
Like, I think that it doesn't necessarily mean that they're your friends. Like, y'all go hang out and do all, like, the friend type stuff for you. Because some people have that.
Yeah, some people got it.
But I think it just changed. You can see them on an equal playing field. Like, you no longer are in need from them. It's more of, like, we can build off of each other. I can confide in you, you can confide in me.
Yeah, but I wasn't necessarily going to say that. It was just me looking at them as, I feel like sometimes, or most time throughout our life, we look at our parents on a certain plateau.
Okay.
Like they're this mythical creature that can do no wrong. Yeah,
that's how you look at your parents.
I can say I looked at them like that, but it's just like your parents are on this particular level. I know my parents are supremely flawed.
But well, then why are you talking about this then?
But we don't look at them as we don't look at our parents just like, that's just a man, it's just a woman. Even as our parents, we look at them on a certain level. Okay. So with me actually having those conversations of like, what were you really thinking about in these moments? What were you really feeling in these moments?
Yeah.
Then I can look at them as just like, I can say like a man or woman on the street, but.
As a human.
As a human, yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So just being able to have those conversations and just kind of like open it up. And like I said, I feel like our relationships have been allowed to grow a little bit, even though sometimes they're growing in ways I don't want them to grow. But yeah, that's been good. And so, yeah, I think the main thing for me was just like elevating like those particular relationships, elevating my business to a certain degree, elevating myself like mentally, and actually spiritually, bro. Yeah, so those are the things that kind of resonated with me the most this year. What about you? What you got?
What was the question I asked you again?
What was your major moment of the year? Your most positive moment? And if not, then, what did you kind of take away?
God, I have so many. But I think something that was so, like, life-changing for me this year was my 60-day challenge.
Okay. Stick on that.
It was so life-changing for me.
For the people that don't know what that was, like, explain
okay. So, I think it was, like, at the beginning of... It was
like
March
or April?
First part of March. I don't even know how, like, Rashad and I were talking, and somehow Rashad was like, oh, you should do a 60-day challenge, and you should vlog for 60 days, to work on, doing things with consistency and all this stuff. And I was like, me vlog? How am I going to do that? And he's like, oh, I'll show you how to edit the video, be real quick. You can do it on your phone. And no, at that point, we weren't even editing videos. Let me back up. Mm-hmm. So you can just do it on your phone, put on a light. And I was like, this is going to look ugly because it's on my phone. And I'm going to have to sit in front of this camera. Whatever excuse I can come up with, I came up with. I did not want to do this. Mm-hmm. And the whole purpose was because, I know why we started. I did a few videos towards the end of 2019 and beginning of 2020. And I kept having people come to me saying that I shouldn't be saying certain things because it could affect my life in the future. I have little girls who look up to me, so I shouldn't talk about certain topics and all of that stuff. And it really bothered me. And for one of the things that I pride myself in is being transparent to the people that I work with, people who I am blessed to serve. I never want to live a life that makes anyone think that life is polished and it's perfect and it's all perfect. I want people to know that life is not perfect, and I want to be able to be real and raw in whatever conversations I've had. What I have done prior to that vlog is those conversations that I had, they were held behind closed doors. And so I was never able to talk freely and speak on things that I really cared about in the public eye because I care so much about what people said. Mm-hmm. And so the idea was to do this 60-day vlog where I was able to, it was called Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death. And the whole purpose was to be free and be able to speak and say the things that I wanted to say, just from my heart. And so I did this for 60 days. And I literally did it every single day. The only day that I almost didn't do it was the day that I failed. And Rashad was like, oh, no, you have to do it today, too. Like, it's, a part of your story. So that was the most freeing thing I've ever done in my life. And I feel like...
Why was that so freeing?
It was freeing because, one, it was the consistency. And Rashad has been telling me for years about consistency. Like, the more you do things, the easier it's going to be. Even if that's like posting on social media. Prior to this 60-day challenge, last year I posted on social media 9 times. Like, I'm not big on posting because I care too much about what people say. Mm-hmm. Well, I care too much about what people say. And so doing this made me get out of my own way. And it allowed me to be vulnerable. It allowed me to be transparent. And it allowed me to reach people that I needed to reach. I didn't know that there were people that needed to hear some of the things that I was saying. Like, a lot of the things that I was saying, I was doing it for myself and thinking of things that I would want to hear. And so I think the freedom came from, like, people who consistently was there watching every single day or commenting or hitting me up and saying, please do this, make sure you do this again. Like, thank you for this. Like, those things are what kept me going. And I realized, oh, there is a purpose to doing this. And so the more I began to do it, the freer I became when I spoke. So for me, I'm generally, whenever I speak in public, if I'm doing an event, whatever, I'm either, my voice is going to shake or I'm going to start crying. Mm-hmm. Like, those are my two things. Because I'm super, super passionate and super emotional. Right. So this helped stabilize that. Like, this gave me strength to be able to speak and not be so emotional in my tone. And so now, like, even when I'm doing videos for the W agency, I can roll something out real quick, and I don't have to do it 12 different times.
Because you're not really thinking about it anymore. Just like, all right, this is what you got to say.
It's like now, it's like natural.
Yeah. You're like, not thinking about what other people want to say when they look at a video.
Nope. Yeah. Now it's just natural. Things roll off. I think this has prepared me for a new platform that I'm getting ready to enter into. And so I was freed in the fact of being able to speak freely. I was freed in the fact of being able to say things that I didn't care who responded to them. And in that process, it freed me, like, in just things in life, like walking away from situations that I never would have walked away from before. Like, understanding my worth and understanding that I don't have to put up with certain things anymore. Like, all of that came from that one moment. Like, it was the most freeing thing I've ever done. Like, I feel like I was healed in so many ways in that 60 days. So that was the greatest moment of this year for me.
Okay. Yeah. So, did you have another thing you want to kind of go into?
Oh, go ahead. You got something?
I don't really have anything for 2020. Where do you want to see, what do you want to bring with you into 2021?
That's good. I'm going to keep doing my vlog, so if you don't follow me at...
You might have to do another 60 days.
I ain't say all that. I'm already up there once a week.
Yeah.
unless something happened and Rashad takes the light or something and I can't do my video. But
I'm gonna get your own in-house light.
Can you buy me a light? I asked you to buy me a light a week ago. You didn't say nothing.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, yeah, I need to. I might do another one. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it. I want to do more of that. I do want to take that over. I want to take a little bit of what I'm doing with the blog and introduce it to Clubhouse. I want to do, at least like once a week or maybe once every other week on Clubhouse because I enjoy that platform too.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what I really want to take. I just feel like.
All right, so it's a two-part question.
Okay.
What is something that you kind of found out about yourself or just a feeling that you want to kind of bring into 2021? Mm-hmm. And then just what's, a thing that you like kind of envision yourself doing in 2021?
Well, I kind of just became a doctor a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm.
A couple weeks ago, so.
Yeah, something light,
Yeah.
Nothing too big,
Yeah, just. I was at 2%.
Yeah, 2% living.
But
I like milking them. 2%.
Yeah.
Red card.
I think 2% is blue.
Really?
Or purple.
I never drank milk before.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I want to take over. Me getting my doctorate made me an expert in the field of nonprofit leadership among women and them dealing with inadequacies and imposter syndrome. So I want to be able to take that and build upon it for a lot of different reasons. For my nonprofit's sake, for the sake of women who need help in building nonprofits and leading nonprofits. So I want to bring that over, figuring out what I can do. I definitely will be doing another study next year with one of my colleagues surrounding imposter syndrome. So I'm super excited about that and not having to do it and being monitored by, a school. I could kind of do it on my own. Right. So I'm super excited about that. I want to take over this feeling of freedom with me. I want to make sure that I continue to advocate for me. I think I've done that so much this year in more ways than one. Like, I just want to continue that feeling because it feels good when you advocate for yourself.
Right.
It's cool when people advocate for you, but when you stand up for you, especially when you're always so willing to give your all to everybody else and serve other people, when you finally take time to serve yourself, it's like... It's just majestic. I don't even know anything else. It's majestic. It's very, it's like a power that comes from it.
Okay.
So I definitely want to bring that over into next year.
Okay.
Edges. I want to bring over edges into next year.
Great edges.
Edges. And, what about you?
I feel like you just randomly threw that in there. From 2020, what I want to bring over, I think it's really just a feeling of not playing it small. When I say that, I mean, like, I feel like for years I've been like making small gains, where small gains are good, but that also comes with not doing anything big where you feel like there's no risk. So when they say like there's no risk, there's no reward if there's no risk. So I felt like for years I've been playing like the safe move, and so with the safe move, I've only been going up, a little bit here and there. But now it's kind of in the mindset, or I can say I am in the mindset of doing the big things that I really want to do, and then being able to reap the rewards of that. But doing the things that like really makes my heart like flutter and sing. So
your heart flutters.
Yeah, it does. Sometimes that's like heart palpitation, but...
Oh, it is?
It's not. But,
okay.
Yeah. But, instead of just doing like the little small things, just really say, all right, these are like the little program. These are the programs, take the word little out of it. These are the programs that I want to get started. And these are the things that's going to lead me to where I ultimately want to be at. So... me just in the mindset of like go big or go home and like everything. Don't like do this the safe thing that's going to make everybody else around me comfortable. Like, do the things that's going to push me outside of my comfort zone, push the people around me outside of their comfort zone, and be just, super unapologetic. As far as things that I want to do this year, one of the main things that I'm going to be putting out probably in the very near future is a internship where people who didn't graduate college or who didn't go to college can really say, you know what, I want to learn how to be a creative. I want to grow a creative business. So my internship is going to be dedicated towards those people who don't have the college backing, but they just have the hustle to really want to change their lives. So that's something that I plan on doing in the next couple of weeks. So, yeah.
What about, do you ever do like resolutions?
I don't. I was thinking about it, like, what is something like my theme? I usually have themes for the year.
Yeah.
Before, my themes have always been like elevation, which that's just something I'm always big in. Like, figure out where you're at the following year and like, all right, so what would be the next level? So it's always moving forward. So I haven't really thought about one for this year. Do you have a resolution or anything?
Yes.
What's that?
My resolution is to stop cussing.
Okay.
I feel like I do it because I can and not because I really need to. It's just like an added like effect that I use. Sort of like a filter. Like, I don't really need it, but I could throw it in here.
Yeah.
A couple of sentences. A couple of miles a minute. Like, I want to stop because I feel like there's other ways to still get my point across without using those words.
Okay.
I can find another $1 million word to use.
Gotcha.
That can cut just as equally as bad as shit or damn.
Okay.
So that's my goal. So I'm going to run it up until December 31st. I'm going to get out every word I can possibly get out. And then I'm just going to let it go.
Okay. To piggyback off that, I do have a resolution.
Okay.
And I actually was thinking about it earlier this year. And to me, that's just building more, the relationships that I have with people, just make them a little bit more stronger. So I have people who are very important to me that I rarely talk to. And I feel like that needs to change. Like Will. Like Will is like somebody who's like supremely important to me.
Yeah.
But I rarely talk to him. So now it's like, all right, now's the time to really just like pull up on them or like, let's go grab a drink or whatever the case may be, like just try to figure that out. So just different people who are super important to me, like just...
Come on. Like Aries, he's trying to get in the video. Come on.
So yeah, for the people who are really important to me, just building stronger relationships. I feel like a lot of my relationships are built off of I ain't gonna say filler, but it's just like either who I used to be or where I project to be.
And do you feel like you have those relationships where people still see you in a space that you no longer occupy?
Right.
So it's like, oh, when I'm around you, I'm not that person anymore. So it's kind of hard to really be in that space with people.
Oh, so, right. True. So it's either where I used to be at, where I was like, wild, reckless, all that type of stuff, or it's where people see me at one line.
Okay.
Which is somebody super business oriented, supremely about their business and all that stuff. So people are either talking to me about like old stuff, or they be like, so how's the business going? And like, you're doing this, which is dope. Because that is where I'm at, but that's
not all of who you are.
So having those more relatable conversations, those more like in-depth conversations that I actually enjoy, I'm actually trying to do more of that instead of people just saying, how's the business doing? Or people say they want to hang out, but they're like, yo, bring your camera too. I'm like, man, fuck out of here.
So are you looking for new friends? Is this a promo for invitation for friends?
I'm open for new friends, but I'm also down to building stronger relationships with the friends I have.
That's good. I'm not open.
Hey, you get new friends every year. You just got 25 new friends last year.
24.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, okay. So anything else? Any last minute things? Anything people should be doing to prepare for the new year?
Do what makes you happy. Everything else don't really matter.
Are you doing what makes you, and do what makes you, oh my God. Let me use this bathroom. Do what makes you happy based off of you and not what you see someone else doing that makes you happy and figuring that that might make you happy too. Because you will be left unfulfilled every time you feel that way.
Very true.
So I would say definitely do that. I would say definitely sit down and figure out like what does 2021 look like for you. Even if that's just staying home so I don't get COVID. Like being more, safe, like buying more masks or, sending masks to somebody. Like it doesn't have to be anything big. You just have to figure out what it's going to be for you. It doesn't have to be a huge elaborate thing. Like I said, my one resolution is to not use profanity. That's a resolution. Am I going to do more next year? Yes. I have some major goals that I want to get into for next year. But as far as, the one thing that I'm going to hold myself accountable to daily, it's that. So I would say that reflect on your year. Think about your highs, your lows, your greatest moments, and reward yourself. Like I slacked this year, but generally, like last year I did it. I have a blessings jar in the corner of my office, and that jar, every time something great happens, I put it inside that jar. And then on December 31st, I dump all of the blessings out on my desk, and I look at everything that I was able to accomplish this year. So I would suggest you do something like that. That way you can go back and reflect. Even when you feel like a year may not have been as great as you wanted it to be, having that moment to say, wow, I forgot about this. I forgot about that blessing. It really pays off, and it really makes you feel good at the end of the year. So that's all I have.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Well, thank you again for joining us for another episode of Keeping It Light. Have a happy new year, and we will see you in 2021.
And let us know where you want us to take this show. Like, I feel like this was actually something I would definitely want to take over in the year 2021, just doing more of these. Mm-hmm. So any particular conversations y'all would like to see us have, we're always down for it. So
that's not true. Y'all tell us, and we're talking like, oh, that's whack, and then he's gonna end up choosing his own topic.
I mean, that's true as well, but
we just wanted to engage.
But come up with something dope and then send it over to us. Shoot us a comment.
Yes.
All right. So once again, it's Keeping It Light, and you guys have a good one.
Bye-bye.